Okay, so this question is about the titration of an acid against an alkali, specifically hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. And you're asked to describe how you would carry out a titration experiment using an indicator and the apparatus below. Include details of the hazards and how you would control them. Okay, so if I take you through the steps first of all, and then we'll deal with the hazards later. So the first step is to use your funnel to place in the top of the burette, and you need to fill the burette with the acid. Okay, now whilst you're doing that, you need to keep an eye on the level of acid in the burette so it doesn't spill. And once you've completed overfilling it, so to about here, you would then run a little bit out into your flask to try and bring the meniscus back down to 0, and then anything that was in your flask at that stage you would discard. Okay. In the meantime, you would need to accurately measure 25 centimeters cubed of sodium hydroxide. So the acid is going to go into there. The sodium hydroxide you would need to place into a clean flask, okay, and that would have to be 25 centimeters cubed. That's the standard volume, and we would use a measuring cylinder or we would use a pipette for that. Okay, then you would need to add 2 drops of the indicator. Okay, so I'll just catch up with myself here. So measure 25 centimeters cubed of NaOH, which is the alkali, into the conical flask. And then we need to add 2 drops of indicator to the NaOH. You don't add it to the burette, you put it in there. So 2 drops into here. That's 2 drops of indicator into there. Now, it's likely the indicator is phenolphthalein, which will go pink in the presence of the alkali. And then, what your aim now is to add the acid from the burette carefully until the indicator changes to the appropriate colour. So in the case of phenolphthalein, it would go from pink to colourless. Okay, so at acid in 0.1 centimeter cubed steps until the indicator changes. Okay, now if you name the indicator as phenolphthalein, that's how you spell phenolphthalein, and you could state that it goes from pink to colourless. So once you've got a volume of acid that changes the indicator to colourless, you would repeat the whole thing up to 4 times to try and get 3 consistent results. Okay, so repeat 4 times to produce at least 3 consistent results. Okay, by consistent we mean very similar to each other. Now, it asks you to mention the safety issues surrounding this. So both the acid and the alkali are corrosive, so we need to be aware of that. And also using glassware means that you run the risk of breakages. Okay, so you need to be conscious of that. So with the acid and alkali being corrosive, that would mean goggles and wash hands in the event of spillage. Okay, so wash hands if spilled. unlikely event you get these in your eye, and the only realistic route for that would be to spill it on your fingers and rub your eye, then you would need to make sure you inform your teacher, and they would bathe your eye in water to make absolutely sure. Now, as this is a QER question, it might be wise in your instances to plan your answer out elsewhere and then write the instructions or the response in as good English and as well laid out as possible. Okay, to get the top marks, the examiner would be looking for a detailed description of the method, the hazards and precautions. Okay, so detailed means that you need to demonstrate a good knowledge of the chemicals and the apparatus involved. So as long as you were to write the information that we've got here, possibly to use the diagram to help you, then you're looking at 5 to 6 marks. Okay, the other marks are determined by the quality, basically, of what you write. So you need to ensure that you are as knowledgeable and as clear as possible. Okay.